welcome back to the PI Show, viewers. It's that time of the show where we've got Kathy's mailbag. Good evening, Kathy. How are you?
Good, thank you.
How'd you find that abattoirs and meat workers and...
I learned a lot about the meat industry tonight, viewers, so thank you very much both to Tony and John for enlightening me.
It's a tough industry to work in, isn't it, John?
Oh, yes. Lots of injuries from the sounds of things. We hope that all the workers in the meat industry be extra careful, and the employers.
Well, we've done the show to try and help them out a bit, see if we can get the employers to pick up their game. But anyway, we don't want to take them too much. We just want to encourage them. Anyway.
Well, let's move on. We're going to go to the questions because we've got so many questions coming through, and we want to thank our viewers for writing in. But I'm going to jump straight into it. There's lots of information here to cover. Dear Tony, John and Kathy, I am a 20-year-old student who helps on my grandparents' farm doing manual labour. I recently sustained a back injury whilst moving bales. I don't want to have any conflict with my grandparents, but I was wondering whether I have a potential work cover claim. I haven't signed a contract of employment, but I have been doing this work every summer for 6 years. Regards, Jono from Langwarrin. John, what's your take on this? Is there a work cover claim?
Well, we have to find out firstly whether or not has he been paid for his work. Most likely he has been because he's been doing it every summer. Jono, if you've been paid, you're receiving money, you can make a claim for statutory benefits for your weekly payments and medical and like expenses with work cover. You need to fill out a claim form, obtain a certificate of capacity from the GP, then give it to your grandparents. And I know
John,
you may have a few issues there.
I know that he probably loves his grandparents, but I don't know any kids or grandchildren that don't want to get paid for something. So I'd be very surprised if he wasn't getting paid.
Do we need to find out also what type of farm or what kind of manual labour that he was doing? Would the grandparents have work cover insurance?
Well, even if there was no insurance, under the scheme in Victoria, you still are covered by the Victorian Work Cover Authority for your injuries that you've sustained.
Mm. And plus also, he was doing heavy lifting, John, so depending on how serious his back is, down the track he may have a lump sum claim.
Well, it sounds like it's a nasty injury, particularly with someone so young.
Yeah, you might have a 98C, which is a lump sum claim, where you don't have to prove fault, but if it becomes a serious injury, then you can also go down the gateway to try and get yourself some common law damages, but anyway.
Jono, we recommend that you see a lawyer in this instance, but you possibly could have some rights to a claim.
And there'd be a lot of cases where people working for friends, relatives and people like that would get injured, so you'd think that they would pursue a claim.
Well, just because you don't have a contract of employment, that's not fatal.
It's good to know. All right, well, we hope that that's helped, Jono. We're going to move on to our second question tonight, viewers, and it says, hi guys, my husband and I were holidaying on Lindeman Island a couple of months ago. We were returning from dinner to our hotel when we tripped and fell into a deep gutter. We made an incident report, and even the lady at our hotel mentioned how dark and dangerous the scene was. At the time, my husband only bruised and grazed his lower back, but since being home, he's been seeing a chiropractor a few times a week and experiencing a lot of pain. We live in Melbourne. Who can help us? Maria from Casey. Tony, how can you answer this question for Maria?
I think he's a bit lucky because he's under Queensland law where you don't have a threshold to try and sue for pain and suffering. In Queensland, my understanding is that provided you've sustained an injury in circumstances where someone's at fault, the fact that you've got deep gutters and it's not well lit, it's poorly lit, would mean that you've got a pretty strong case arguing the issue of liability.
So we've got a public liability claim, Tony.
Yeah, it's a public liability claim.
Lindeman Island, nice place. Have you been there, Tony?
No. I've been to a few of the other islands, but not that one.
What about if we do a show from Lindeman Island? It might be a possibility.
Nice and expensive.
Well, you've been to Hamilton Island, Tony, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. That's a nice place.
It's next door, I think, isn't it?
It's not far. But he's got a claim, there's no doubt about it. And the thing is, you don't have to satisfy the 5% threshold for pain and suffering. Obviously, up there, you've got to go through the, you've got to lodge a claim. You've got to set out what your injuries are. You've got to set out what your expenses are. So, yeah, I think consult a lawyer because there is definitely a claim.
Particularly a lawyer experienced in Queensland law.
John, I've done a couple from Melbourne, so
yes, you have.
You know, we've investigated them and, lodged the claims with the insurers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it from Melbourne as well. Yeah. If the matter had to go to court, you'd have to issue in the Supreme Court, but notwithstanding that, you can do it from Melbourne.
No, and I guess if needs be, you'd have to have a view at Lindeman Island to exactly
I think
see
you
what's
two
going
are
on.
focused too much on the party side of it as opposed to trying to advise the client here.
We just want to see some sun, given that the summer hasn't been that great. But look, you have to actually see the with public liability cases, site inspections are very important to help the client. So
I'm
it's for the
sure-
client's benefit.
I'm sure the client's taking photos and probably video footage of the area where he fell. So
Well, we hope that's helped Maria, but definitely consult a lawyer. And we'll move on to our third question. Dear PI Show, firstly, I just want to say I love your work. Well, thank you very much. Secondly, I'm writing because I was recently exposed to chemicals at work. I didn't feel anything at the time, but I'm worried I may suffer an injury down the track. Is there anything I can do? Thanks. And this is from Jerry in Box Hill. Now, this is a really interesting question. It doesn't actually, Jerry doesn't write to us with what chemicals it is, but what can he do? Because there's quite a few claims of this nature around.
Oh, look, our legislation protects people from diseases or things that come on down the track, like asbestos, for example. You know, mesothelioma and cases like that. So this would fall into that sort of a category. If it manifests itself down the track, you know, you could lodge a claim when it, you know, you develop the condition, I guess.
My advice would be to seek medical advice, attend your GP, complain to him as to the problems that you're having. He should, well, the GP, if he thinks appropriate, refer you to a specialist to have specialist results.
You probably want to get
undertaken.
checked out on a regular basis, maybe every 12 months, you know.
Yeah.
We've got a doctor coming on the show next, John. We might have to ask him what's the appropriate way to deal with this.
yeah.
But,
Because it sounds like here we're not sure whether or not there is an injury yet.
Yeah.
However, we want to make sure that if it does arise, well, you are covered.
but John, like people that have worked in industries where they've been exposed to asbestos, they generally go for tests on it every 12 months. And that way they can keep a tab on what's going on to see if there's any ongoing issues or possible issues in the future.
Well, you never know when it's going to arise, is what it
Well, you
comes down
don't.
to. So, but I mean, if you've been exposed to it, there's the possibility. But your GP will be the one to help you the most and to be able to continue treatment if required as well.
Well, I've seen people in circumstances like this where they've developed severe psychiatric conditions because of the worry, the fear. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, the stress
there's also that
anxiety.
aspect of it too.
That is, yes.
Don't we have to give the viewers some
We
knowledge
do.
about how to get onto this computer
Well,
system?
I would like to remind the viewers that you can actually catch up on previous episodes and contact us at www.thepishow.com. We welcome more questions from you because we love answering them, and we'll keep coming back with interesting topics for you. So thank you very much for watching again, and good night.
Thanks for
Good night, viewers.